Yeah, hi there. These comments are for CYC, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. And I'm going to go over your integrated practice test right now. So the question here is, how do the main points of the listening passage conflict with the main points of the reading passage? Okay, so you have your 3 paragraphs. Now what I would do here is, before you get to this second paragraph, you should have an introduction that frames both the reading passage and the lecture. So you can be pretty general. You might say something like this: the reading passage explains 3 specific problems with fast food restaurants, and then the lecture disagrees with each of these points. Just something simple like that. That's what you do here, and then you get to your first body paragraph. So you should have some introduction to kind of set things up. So you say the reading passage, you want to make that singular. The reading passage claims that fast food, if you say chains, you don't have to say restaurants. If you say restaurants, you don't have to say chains. So I'm going to just get rid of one of these words. So the reading passage claims that fast food restaurants like McDonald's, Burger King, and Taco Bell are, I'm going to get rid of this word and then turn this into an adverb, are directly responsible, usually here, for people's obesity in the United States. And then maybe use some type of cause-effect word here, thereby, or hence, or thus, or and so on, causing diabetes. Maybe you can say high blood pressure, high cholesterol. You already said that, so no need to say it again here. Okay, that's pretty good. You've stated, I think, the most important point there. You say, in contrast to the article, the listening explains that the principal cause of obesity is the inactive. Here, you want to use here an adjective, not a noun, is the inactive lifestyle. Here, to avoid that comma splice, put a semicolon, then you can put the comma here. For example, if, and use the word people here or before, right? So let's keep that point of view. So if people you might say spend most of the time in front of the TV or playing video games, they can also gain weight. Okay, so not bad. So let's move on to the second point here. Second, the reading passage says that fast food, say the word chains, encourage gluttony. I would say here which, not what. Which means over consumption. Okay, so in addition, the reading passage explains that, probably want to say here, even though years ago drinks at these establishments were limited, put a comma here, so maybe instead of the word exposes, probably explains, The reading explains that even though years ago at these establishments, drinks at these establishments were limited, so I'm using the word here, these establishments, to connect back to this idea of fast food chains. So we have that cohesiveness going on. Drinks at these establishments are limited, just one at a time. Now customers have unlimited free refills of these sweetened drinks. Again here, need a period here to begin your new sentence to avoid that comma splice. In addition, kids are been, I think you have to say have been, present perfect. So if you say are, you have to use the ing, not the past participle. But you could say, in addition, kids have been affected too. I'm going to say something like that. Alright, so then you have the next one. However, the listening claims that because of the busy schedules and harsh economic times, parents have no creative options like apples or fruits for kids. This is where you run into trouble here. I think if you look at the reading, I mean, if you go to the lecture here, let's take a look. So you're talking about the second idea, right? So as you move to the second idea, you have fast food also contributes to an unhealthy society. The fast food options are limited. That's the second idea, right? And then we have, when we look at the actual lecture, it's saying here that the concept of healthy is a continued concept that is argued. It says what is healthy today, but what is more important is a healthy lifestyle. It says fast food chains do serve mostly fat and cholesterol driven food, but now we have created options like apples and fruits for kids and more salad options. It says also in states like California and New York, the calorie count of each menu item must be on the menu so the consumer is more informed. This is the problem I'm having here. Is I'm having trouble. You're not really discussing the second point. That's really the big problem. You should be saying, when we get to this paragraph, you should say also, you should say second, according to the reading passage, fast food restaurants encourage an unhealthy society because the healthy food options at these restaurants are limited. And explain that a little bit more. And then say, however, according to the lecture, these restaurants are also offering more healthy options for the customers, which is in direct contrast to what was said in the reading passage. So I'm not really seeing those ideas here. So you say second, the reading passage exposes that fast food restaurants contribute negatively on diet citizens for three reasons. They cause obesity, create an unhealthy society, and promote gluttony. The listening passage claims that the point is to take the control of our fast food consumption And by doing so, we can think about measuring amounts of sweetened drinks and limiting, you might want to say, our caloric intake. So this is really the problem here, is you didn't really have that introduction, that first paragraph, to set up the purpose of both the reading passage and the lecture. In this paragraph, what you needed to do, and I think you did, the first paragraph was pretty good. You talked about how the reading talks about fast food causes obesity, but then you talked about how the lecture disagrees with that, saying that the inactive lifestyle, in addition to consuming more calories, also causes obesity. Right? So your first body paragraph was pretty good. But then, this is where we got a little bit mixed up. In the next paragraph, you should have moved on to the idea the reading passage is saying that fast food restaurants create an unhealthy society because the healthy food options are limited for the customers. Then, on the other hand, the lecture disagrees with this, saying that many of these fast food restaurants are creating healthier options for their customers. Right? And then the third point, you should have said something about how fast food restaurants encourage gluttony, which means they have limited free refills and consumers can consume mass amounts of food at these restaurants. And then say, however, according to the lecture, these customers, if they use self-control, they don't have to have more than one soft drink. They don't have to eat all the fries or the hamburgers that they get. They should exercise self-control. And then you can get to your conclusion. Right? So now, let's take a look at your score. So, I think on this one you had some problems, I think, connecting, especially the second main point from the reading along with the second point from the lecture. So you left out some information. So I got to put you in the 2 range on this one. So your response is incomplete because you omitted key ideas. I think key points from the reading, key points from the lecture, you didn't really talk about. I think that you have misunderstood some of these key ideas, I think, from the lecture. And probably some things from the reading passage. Alright, so your score here, I'm going to put you right now, I'm going to put you at a score of 2.66 out of 5 or 20 points out of 30 on this particular practice test. Now, if you go to the syllabus to understand your grade a little bit more, if you go to the syllabus, go to page 9, we can figure out what your score is. Here we go. So under the writing here, I gave you a score of 2.66. Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I think I looked at the wrong rubric here. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Okay, here it is. Wait a minute. Okay, sorry about that. I'm using the wrong rubric here. So let me close this one. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here, yeah, I don't think you can get in the 3 range on this one. So it says here, even though your response contains some relevant information from the lecture, you have significant difficulties with language, or I think this is what describes yours. You have left out important ideas from the lecture. Specifically, the idea of the unhealthy options, as the reading passage explains, and how the lecture disagrees with that. You didn't really mention that, so that turns your score down a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to put you at not 2.66, 2.75 out of 5. This is going to put you at 18 points out of 30, according to the TOEFL IBT. And then for the purposes of our class, 2.75 is going to put you at 73% on this assignment. So what do? I think with you, I think in order to improve your academic English language abilities, for example, if you want to pursue a graduate degree or you just want to improve your English a little bit more, I think part of it is you need to improve your listening comprehension abilities a little bit more. Make sure that you can catch the main points from what you're listening to and you're able to write and explain those ideas. All right, anyway, thank you for completing the integrated writing practice test.